So basically, Sweet Baby is a company. Their job is effectively to go into different games and do diversity and inclusion sensitivity reading to make sure that different games aren't doing something that could be portrayed or seen as racist or problematic by different people in the community, right? Basically, that's what they do. That is their job. That is their purpose. And a lot of people are unhappy about that. They're very angry about it. And they view Sweet Baby as a Grim Reaper of good video games, and that Sweet Baby makes games worse. And there has been it's gone so far to where there is an actual like a Steam page dedicated to like finding any game that Sweet Baby was was related to, and then putting it on a list so people can avoid all of those games, because that's how much people don't like it. So the person who made this group they tried to actually cancel the person who made the group. And there was an employee at Sweet Baby who wanted everybody to not only mass report and remove this group from Steam, but also ban the man that made it. So it's not enough to just remove the group, but it's actually they want to punish the person who made it. And so that's the guy I talked about. He saw the video, and he said he'd be willing to come on the stream and talk about it. And so that's what we're about to do right now. We're going to go ahead and talk about it. Yo, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I certainly can. All right. Yeah, it's good to talk to you. How you doing?
Oh yeah, man. I'm really, really feeling great right now. I mean, all this thing that is happening, it's crazy, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm loving it.
Well, what gave you the idea? Actually, you know what? Before I ask you that, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of like what you're about, like where you learned about all this stuff, you know, like your background, etc., just so people can get an idea like who you are?
Learn about the Lollipop Egg Company, you mean, or learn about? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and how you learned about it, and how you found out
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
Okay. I think it was when they released God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
I noted that. I mean, I didn't play the game. I didn't have, to be honest, I didn't have any interest in playing it. But I noticed that things were different with Kratos and, I mean, the game franchise itself. So I did a little bit of research because I was like, what is causing this? Why is this game like this?
Yeah.
And then I came up. I don't remember exactly what I found at the beginning, but then I do remember that I ended up on the company's, I mean, Sweet Baby Inc. website.
So you
And
went to
then
the Sweet Baby website. Is that correct?
yeah,
Okay.
and then I saw the game over there. I mean, because if you get into their website, like right now, you can see that they have some kind of portfolio, right?
Sure.
And then they just they have those small pictures of every game that not every single game, but I mean a lots of projects that they have worked on or they are currently working on. And then if you mouse over on those images, you can see what kind of work they did in those games. So this is how I found about it.
I
And
see
when I
that.
saw,
Yes.
yeah, and when I saw all the other games in the list, and then I started noticing a pattern, like, so this is like this, and in that other game, something else it was like, for
So
example,
you noticed a pattern. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I mean, if you pay attention to those, let's say woke products, okay, let me just call
Sure.
them that way. They have some kind of pattern, they have some kind of virtual singly stuff, and they have some like extremely diverse cast and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, okay, so maybe these guys are related to it. And then yeah, so that's how I discovered them. Yeah.
Okay. And you're from, I know some people in the chat were asking, you're from Brazil, right?
Oh yeah, I'm Brazilian. Yeah.
And so there was a big
Banana
conversation.
land.
Yeah, there it is. All right. Well, yeah, I know there was a really big conversation in like, I guess like the Latin community. I've understood about
Mhm.
Spider-Man 2. How much do you know about that? Do you know anything about the
Oh,
Spider-Man 2 thing? Because with the like cuz in Spanish they have gendered language and then in Spider-Man 2 they were using words that were effectively non-gendered words that people had made up. Obviously
oh
I know
yeah,
that yeah.
yeah. I've seen that. I mean, it's just that I mean, Brazil. We're in South America, but we are pretty much the only country over here, and I guess that we are also the only country in our South
Hmm.
and Central America that doesn't speak Spanish.
Yeah, you guys are
We
Portuguese, right?
speak, yeah,
Yeah.
Brazilian Portuguese. So I mean, I saw that they did that in the with the Spanish language,
Uh-huh.
but we didn't talk that much about this over here because I mean, pretty much every Brazilian player, I mean, at least the vast majority don't play Spanish.
Okay. So yeah, you guys
So,
didn't
but
even have
what
an
I
idea.
did,
Got it.
yeah, but what I did know is that they changed the flags of. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was
Mhm.
Cuba flag for Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken, something like this, right? They tried to appeal to a Latin community, but they failed.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's weird. So they changed the flags in the game? I didn't even know
Oh
that.
yeah, by mistake. They thought it was. I mean, bro. I mean, I'm not sure which countries are. I mean, probably your chat can inform us better. But I think it was they tried to put a Puerto Rico flag,
Hmm.
and instead they have put a Cuba flag because they are really they really look like each other.
Okay. Okay, so you
It was
do
a
you it was might have just been a mistake, who knows, right? It's hard
Yeah,
really
it
to
was a
say.
mistake. Definitely. We're almost 100K, man. Jeez.
So you yeah, you almost have 100K followers in this group. What made you want
Hmm.
to actually make the group?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so I created the group exactly in January. Sometimes I mess with my pronunciation. I'm sorry, dude.
So a couple months
January.
ago.
No, January 29. It's
Okay.
kind of, I don't know, a little bit more than a month, right?
Hmm.
And then yeah, it was during the release of the last Suicide Squad game. And then yeah, they screen Sweet Babe Inc. Like if you play the game, if you at least see some footage of the gameplay itself,
Hmm.
it screams Sweet Babe Inc. And then I was like, man, and then I remember following a creator on Steam that did basically the same that I'm doing, but for the Nouveau games.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it is called the Nouveau Games Detected, the Nouveau Detected, something like this. This is where I took inspiration to create my creator Sweep Ink game, Sweep Ink Detected. And then yeah, so I mean, I just thought to myself, oh, hey, it would be awesome if we had a creator just like this one to let people know about Sweet Babe Inc.
Hmm.
So I mean, if Sweet Babe Inc. has been involved with a dual game, something like this.
So it's like basically you just want people to to be aware that this is happening, to basically make that the because like you said that there was a pattern that you were recognizing, and you want other people to be aware of that pattern, and making this group helps people understand the pattern. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, you can put it that way. I mean, my main goal is just to make people aware of not only Sweet Babe Inc., but I mean, of course, Sweet Babe Inc. itself, but also potentially some other companies that do the same kind of work that they do. So just be aware that our games, our entertainment, the stuff we love, are
Hmm.
being kind of, utilized for this kind of stuff, like political agendas. This is what it is. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people knew about them. Like it's like, for example, let's say you are allergic to peanuts, right? And if you're gonna buy a like sneaker chocolate bar,
Yeah.
you have to know if that chocolate bar has peanuts, right?
Sure.
So it's exactly the same thing. It's just to, I mean, my I intend to inform. I have created a thread, and I know that you've seen this thread. It's called a few words,
Yes.
and
Yes.
yeah, I know I saw your video,
Hmm.
and then I even updated that thread with some more things just to make. I'm trying to be crystal clear here, like with my intentions and the group itself intentions. We are not trying to hate on anyone. We are not trying to harass anyone like that guy said. We are not trying to. We're just trying to inform people, make people aware of what they do, and if they are involved with a do project. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. And so has anybody from the company obviously, so I guess this was kind of around for about a month or so before it like really
Hmm.
kind of popped off and picked up steam. And then the people that worked at the company at Sweet Baby found out about this. And have any of them tried to actually contact you personally and talk to you personally?
No, no. At least not yet. I didn't receive any kind of messages or contact from them, neither on Twitter or Steam. I have had to check my email, but I'm not sure if they could find what my email address is actually. So
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, maybe they will at some point, but until until now, no, no, they did not.
So I guess they didn't even you didn't even know that they were going to make that tweet calling for the group to be like I guess removed, and then also for your account to be banned. Because whenever I
Yeah,
saw this, like they didn't just want the group to be removed or just or deleted, they wanted you to get banned on your personal Steam account for just making the group. Is that right?
yeah, exactly. You know, I gotta be honest to you, man. I had no idea it would come to that, But I mean, I wasn't surprised at all because here in Brazil we have people like this too. Let me
Yeah,
state
yeah.
something here. Brazil is like a USA DLC. We have lots of your guys' culture trendings over here too.
Uh-huh.
Some people try to copy them.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have this. We have. Sorry, I'm loud on the chat. We have this kind of stuff, and well. But you know what? You know what is funny? I'm noticing, I mean, lots of like big Brazilian channels, like with million subscribers, even more. They started talking about Sweet Baby Inc. because of me. I mean, the vast
Really?
majority of Brazilian people didn't, yeah, they did not even have idea on what Sweet Baby Inc. is or what are they doing. They had no idea. They just were complaining, bro. The games are too much lacradores. It's the word we have here for woke games. And now they know why. At least I mean part of the reason because I'm pretty sure that Lollipop Baby Company isn't the only one, right?
That's what I would say too. Is like
Yeah.
I don't think that they're the only ones that are doing this, and I do think like personally, I think in
Hmm.
a way, like they're kind of like a representation of the problem that everybody knows about, but they're also kind of being scapegoated, I think, because the odds are that there's a lot of other companies and people that work at the companies that effectively do the same thing. It's just that we don't have their names, we don't know who they are. So this is the one instance in which people actually do know who it is. So all of the frustration is being put, I would say disproportionately, on Sweet
Hmm.
Baby, but in a way it's like people aren't even really criticizing Sweet Baby or getting mad about that. It's just that it's effectively kind of what they represent. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, of course, they are the main target here because they were the first ones to come out and say, hey, we are Super Inc. and we do this kind of work. Take a look at our website, take a look at our portfolio. We
Yeah.
are working on these games. This is what we are doing. And then people saw what we are doing. Then people realized, oh, so it is because of them that those kind of stuffs in, I don't know, let's say, for example, in Spider-Man 2 are happening. And then, yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, that's why I think you made some really good points in your last video because I think this is 100% true. But I mean, after all that this is happening right now, probably the other companies are gonna try to hype themselves even more, you know, because of what is happening to Sweet Baby Inc. right now. That's what I think is gonna happen to them.
I think it's an example of like customers just kind of receiving a product that they don't necessarily agree with and looking for a reason why that's happening and then
Hmm.
trying to just boycott that reason entirely. It's kind of like how a lot of people don't like live service games, even though the real problem isn't necessarily live service games, but live service
Hmm.
games exemplary of a problem that's larger, like games being pay to win or having like inconveniences in them that you're supposed to pay to overcome, etc. It's not really live service games that have that, but it's a lot of games that are live service that, it's like a Venn diagram. There's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. For example,
Yeah.
we have some great examples of live service games. For example,
Hmm.
World of Warcraft. I used to be really addicted to that one,
There it
and
is.
I got to know you through World of Warcraft. I mean, I guess every WoW player came to one of your videos at
Hmm.
some point, right?
Sure. I hope
And yeah,
so.
that's a great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, even here in Brazil, bro. I mean, people watch you. Yeah,
Well, I
I
appreciate
have
it,
a
man. I
friend that
do.
he's crazy about you, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean Kel'Thuzad used to be a really big Brazilian server. Like yeah, so
It,
I'm very aware of it.
War Song. I used to play on War Song. I
Hmm.
was a orc warrior named
There it is.
Cabrus. Yeah, bro. I was playing Season of Discovery until last week,
Uh-huh.
but I had to stop playing because, like I don't have time anymore, man.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot. It's a big time investment, right? I mean, to play games a lot of time like
yeah,
that, especially like an MMO.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But I mean, it's still a great example of live service games, right?
Hmm.
Of a live service game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, your take is completely 100% accurate in my opinion.
So I was kind of curious, like there's been a number of like people that have like criticized different things that the company has done, and I'm kind of curious to hear like what your response to some of this would be, right? Because a lot of
Okay.
people have said that, having diversity in games and, adding this into a game is a good thing because these things are added into the game and they make the game more inclusive and approachable for other people. And they say that Sweet Baby Inc. is just simply doing that and not necessarily forcing these companies to add in the characters themselves. They're just
Mhm.
simply consulting, but it's the game company's ultimate choice. I'm curious, kind of like, what would your opinion of that be?
Um, you mean on diversity on games, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Uh,
basically,
mhm.
people say, like, yeah, well, you're complaining about diversity in games. Why is diversity in games a bad thing?
Well, diversity in games isn't a bad thing at all,
Hmm.
It is not
Yeah.
when it's done properly, correctly.
Uh huh.
The thing is they politicize stuff. That's how it is. For example, I didn't play Spider-Man 2, and I honestly I think I never will, but I know that they, for example, when you are doing some missions in that game, they mention the police, like police are the bad guys, and they even mention some political movements. I don't know if I can talk about it here, but well, they even mention political movements related to, let's say, minorities, like in
Hmm.
the Miles Morales DLC. But it's not a bad thing itself. It's just the way they do it. For example, Gears of War is one of my favorite game franchises ever, and Halo is my favorite gaming franchise ever. And bro, I
Fuck
just
yeah.
love Sergeant Johnson. Yeah, fuck yeah,
Oh,
bro. It's
hell
amazing.
yeah,
I know,
man.
like
Yeah.
it.
He was one of my
It's
favorite
amazing
characters.
character,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think I'm even whiter than you, but I love the guy, and he's black.
Hmm.
So yeah, bro. I mean, and do you know anyone that complained about that character being black?
No, I never heard anybody complain
No,
about that. I'm pretty sure if they put him in the show, people would complain if he wasn't.
of course,
Hmm.
man. Like, oh man, don't even get me started on the Halo show, bro. Don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gears of War, for example, my favorite character, I think it's Cole, and
Hmm.
you remember Cole, that big black EX football player guy from Gears of War. I don't know if you remember, but anyway, Gears of War is a
I don't
pretty
know.
diverse game. You have like four
Coltrane, yes,
protagonists.
yes, yes.
Coltrane, yes,
Holy
yes,
fuck,
exactly.
yes. I forgot all
Oh,
about
baby.
that.
Yeah, man. Like for example, you have Don, who's
Uh-huh.
I think he's like Latino
Yeah, Dom. Dom was
Mexican
everybody's
something.
favorite character, right? Or a lot of people's favorite character. People are really, really
Yeah,
fans of him. Yeah.
people love that guy. Then you got
Hmm.
Marcus Fink, who's the
Yeah.
average white male American guy. I
Yep.
mean, he's fine. I like him.
Hmm.
But anyway, those are just two examples of two of my favorite game franchises.
Right.
That I mean, they are pretty diverse,
Yeah.
and they have like pretty much every kind of people on them, and they are not bad games. People actually love them.
Hmm.
So yeah, diversity isn't a bad thing. It's the way they do. It's basically this.
So it's basically the way that it's told, and it's being told in a heavy-handed and like patronizing way. It's like they're talking down to you, I guess.
Yeah, bro.
Hmm.
They try to re-educate you, you know. They try to influence your the way you view the world. They try to influence your opinions. And I mean, probably they think that okay, so those I mean in Brazil or those other countries, those people they want you know they want notice that. But we do, man. We have we have lots of I mean, I know lots of Brazil, of course, I'm Brazilian. I know lots of Brazilian players over here,
Yeah.
and we notice all this thing, man. I mean, don't think. I mean, I'm not saying that you think, but I mean, they maybe they think that we are not aware, but we are, bro. And now, after all of this,
Hmm.
you have no idea how people are saying, "Hey, bro, it was a Brazilian guy who created the list. Let's talk about it." And some people are reaching me out and say, "Hey,
Hmm.
man, you're a hero. You're a this. You're doing God's work." I am not, man. I'm just a gamer, you average guy gamer. You know, I love video games. It's a passion of my life. I play video games since I was, I don't know, 6 years old. I'm
Hmm.
just tired of all this bullshit, bro. Just give me good games. You
You just
know,
want to
that's
play
what I
games.
want.
You don't want to feel like you're
Yeah,
being used as a tool to push an agenda.
yeah, bro. I mean, I guess nobody wants to feel like that, right? I mean,
Hmm.
at least almost nobody. I mean, everybody just want to play a good game and that's it. You know, make a good game and give you money and that's it. Hmm.
I think it really is just that simple, and it's disappointing that a
Hmm.
lot of these companies have tried to overcomplicate it by adding in all these extra steps that they feel like they need to take in order to make certain people happy. And yeah, I think that you're
Yes.
right. The reality is, if you go back and you look at a lot of the older games, there is a tremendous amount of diversity, but it's not being shown in a way that's disingenuous. And I think that's really what's happened a lot, is that now people have kind of lost trust in the developers and in the people that are writing the story. So anytime that there's a character that isn't a default white male, people assume that it's there for some sort of like sweet baby ink reason rather than actually being an artistic choice by the developer. And I think that's actually a much bigger issue.
Yes, yeah. Let me tell you
Hmm.
an example of that. For example, there was a game that was showed last year during the Xbox Showcase presentation, and it was a game called South of Midnight. Oh, you're playing Grand Blue?
Hmm.
Really? That's a
Oh, I'm
great
farming
game.
it.
Another game that has diversity and nobody complains.
And what was it
That's
called?
another game. The game you're playing right now, Grand Blue Relink.
Oh yeah, of course it got Controversy. Yeah, Gondon Dozer.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves him. He's great.
Yeah, I love this game, bro. I played for over 100 hours. Beautiful women, good game. This is what we want, you know.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
really not that complicated, right? Yeah.
yeah, it really is not, bro. I mean, you can put on like any kind of woman or character, just make them
Yeah.
appeal to our eyes. That's how I
It's
guess.
really not that complicated, right? It's just yeah, it's that simple. So yeah,
Yeah,
have you had people message you that were like angry and unhappy about the fact that you made the group too?
no, no, bro. I mean, actually, in fact, it's quite the opposite. People that are messaging me are just know those people that are saying, "Hey, bro, like I told you like a few seconds ago, you're a hero and this and that." And no, I really appreciate, you know, I'm starting to get, I mean, I'm starting to, I mean, I still don't know how to deal with all the situation. Though I was
Yeah.
just a nobody like 2 days ago.
Hmm.
If you asked me like 3 days ago, hey, you think that you ever go talk to Asmongold? Like, "Nah, man, that guy is just too big. He'll never notice me, you know." But
Oh, I
anyway,
notice a lot of things. I mean, I
oh yeah.
spend a lot of time covering stuff like this, so it's actually quite common for me. So yeah,
Hmm.
no, man, I totally I think that a lot of people respect a lot of this stuff, and it's like especially I think one thing that's kind of problematic is that you have some of the people who work at Sweet Baby, like they say kind of like I would say that like so one of the people that works at the company said there was a tweet, and this is the tweet, I guess this one's from 10 years ago, right? So like who cares?
Hmm.
Let's look at one from 2024. I usually get grossed out when straight white rich people kiss, but I even think these two are pretty cute. Like I think that if you got grossed out whenever like there were gay black people that kissed, I'm pretty sure you'd get in trouble for that. That'd be really really bad. So it's I think that these people are just straight up fucking racist.
Of course they
That's
are,
really
man.
what it is. They're racist and they're trying to use their position as being anti-racist as a Trojan horse to be racist in a different way. That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you on this one.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I told you that we had a pattern on the games, right? And we
Yeah.
also have a pattern on these people. I mean, it's always the same story, bro. They like throwing rocks at everybody, but then
Yeah.
when you search about their past, or even just get to know them a little bit more, you can see what their true face is. I mean, the true face is that they are racist, they are sexist, they are the fascists, not us. And we have exactly the same kind of people over here in Brazil. They
Really.
do exactly the same thing, but of course in Brazilian Portuguese, not in English. And then when you're going to take a closer look to them, you can see some really, really crazy, some really ugly stuff.
So you
I'm not
guys
a
have the
political.
same problem over there with like people that act like they should be like the the moral leaders of the country, and then they have like a bunch of terrible things they've said in the past. Is that right?
Exactly, man. Bro,
Yeah.
they even use the same terms that I mean that the guys use over there. For example, they say homem branco e hétero. Bro, it's like it's literally the translation to Brazilian Portuguese of male, white male,
Uh-huh.
straight white male.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah. Asmon, I would love I would love if you right now could go to the creator page and
Oh, did
just
you
refresh.
did you hit it?
No, no, just refresh. Just do it.
Holy shit, it happened. Congrats, man.
Happen.
A
Thanks to
hundred
you, my friend.
thousand followers. Well, hey, I mean, I could have promoted anything, but people decided to agree with it. And so, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of people out there that are kind of like, in my opinion, I think that people just want to read and they want to see an authentic story. It's not necessarily that like they care about the diversity or Sweet Baby Inc. or any of this stuff. They just want to be part of a story that they feel like is authentic and true to form in a way that's not patronizing or obnoxious. And in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, like, demonizing the police and stuff like this. Like, I'm very much like, obviously the police here have problems, but you need the fucking police. And to
Of course
put
you
that
do.
stuff in a game, it's just, it's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, bro, it's exactly the same over here. I mean, I live in Brazil in a region that we have by far the highest homicide tax, homicide rate. Is that how you guys call it?
Yeah, murder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
murder rate, right?
Hmm.
Murder rate, yes. We has like the highest murder rate in the whole country. And I know some people that would say, "Yeah, screw the police, just and then." I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
like it. This kind of people, right? Of
Sure,
the of these
100%.
guys. Yeah, yeah. And I just think to myself, bro. I mean, we are so screwed with the police. Imagine if we don't, if we didn't have that. So,
Yeah, it'd be
I
chaos.
mean, it's yeah, totally chaos, bro. I mean, and I know that there are some places in the U.S. that people are, going to the stores and straight up stealing stuff, because it's legalized in some way. I think it's California,
It's
right?
decriminalized to steal things under $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding in certain places, but I don't really know the nuances of that. But I've seen a lot
Mm-hmm.
of videos of the same thing happening.
Yeah, bro, this is too crazy, even for Brazilian standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have things like this in any place over here. So when I see stuff like this happening in the US,
Hmm.
bro, it's just unbelievable. Well, yeah, I mean, it's this kind of situation. It's the same thing.
Oh yeah, and it's just yeah. I've looked at some of this stuff. It's just absolutely crazy, of people that just going in and just stealing shit everywhere constantly. It's nuts, and
Hmm.
I think that like the problem is that a lot of people view it as like it's a good thing or something like that, or somehow like this is actually positive in any way. And in my opinion, I think it's insane that like people that are going into a store stealing things out of the store are anything more than thieves. And so I think that it's
Yeah,
again it's just it's so outrageous.
it is, man. And I
Hmm.
mean, the fact that there are people actually defending them for doing this, it's even more crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. And I'm gonna be real. Like I see a lot of this stuff happening, and especially like that mindset being added into games, etc. I find it to be
Mhm.
very off-putting and unpleasant. I don't like it either, and I think a lot of other people don't too. And it's like I think that's why this group popped off so much. Is that like people always ask you to define like, oh, why is this stuff bad, etc. I think it's bad, and this is really what the issue is that it's bad because it defends things that are indefensible and it doesn't focus
Mhm.
on what the actual diversity, and because there's no regulation of like bad behavior in the, I guess, like more like leftist woke community, stuff like this kind of happens, and you see people running defense for it, and it's like you don't need to run defense for this at all. Like this is really bad, in the same way that like if there's a conservative person that does something really bad, like a lot of conservative people don't need to run defense for them either. There's bad actors, but it's basically like these movements and these groups get co-opted by these bad actors, and then the movements and groups don't know how to like accurately remove them. It's like they just keep defending bad behavior, and it's gotten to a point now where people are literally defending shoplifting. They don't want to have police officers and stuff like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are
Hmm.
afraid of, I mean, if let's say that you are part of them. Like, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm a guy who let's say I'm a leftist, I'm agree with them politically talking, and then yeah, I mean, I guess that those people, I mean, I guess that there are people in their groups, in their communities that actually think that this is not a cool thing, this is not a good thing to do, but they are afraid of telling them that because of retaliation, maybe.
Exactly. No, I think it's 100% retaliation. They're afraid that they don't
Mhm.
want to be called a racist, or they don't want to be called
Mhm.
like, supporting a state. They don't want to be a fascist. And so it's just like basically always it's a race to the bottom with like the lowest common denominator. So it's like, of course it's okay to steal. It's okay to not pay your taxes. It's okay to like break the law. It's okay to speed. It's okay to do anything you want, right? Because you live in a system that's considered to be unfair, any behavior you do is acceptable. And so, yeah, I think it's very problematic. And I think that people are seeing it, and I think that's the reason why this group is so popular, is because I think that it's hit kind of a inflection point, or like a climax where it's like, okay, enough is enough. Like this is just it's too much.
Yes, exactly, man. I
Hmm.
mean, I think that I mean, talking about games again, right? I mean, I think that
Yeah.
the last Suicide Squad game was like, okay, enough is enough,
Yeah.
because I mean, it was so uh crystal clear what they tried to do with that game.
Right.
Bro, what they did with Batman was like, I mean, I don't, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't care about superheroes since, I don't know, 2013, 2012. I
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
care yeah, I stopped caring about them when I realized that, okay, this is not a nerd stuff
Hmm.
anymore, because it got so popular, and we suddenly you had like dozens and dozens of superhero stuff, like movies, animations, games, like all the time, and it got crazy. People just suddenly got crazy about superheroes. So this was the point. I was like, okay, I don't care anymore. But even me, even a guy like me, when I saw what they did with the Batman, and that Batman was the Batman from the other games, right? That Batman,
From
the
Arkham
Arkham.
Asylum, yeah, that's my understanding
Yes,
of it. I'm not sure, but I think
yes.
so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen some people say that. Well, yeah, that's also my understanding because I didn't play any of those games. But anyway, that thing got people so angry towards them. And
Yeah.
I mean, bro, they literally destroyed Rocksteady. Rocksteady's name is like, I mean, people, they have built a reputation in the last decade, in the past
Hmm.
decade, um, with those Batman games, but it took only like a single game from, I mean, not a single game, but I mean, because their last games, from what I know, they weren't well received. But this game was like when everything exploded, and people looked at what they did, and people tried to find a guilt, to put the guilt in someone, and then there's Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, of course, it's
Did
not. I
they
mean, of
work? Yeah, they did work on Suicide Squad. It said they worked on script writing, cutscenes, audio
hmm
logs,
hmm
and banter.
jokes.
Yeah.
jokes, if I'm not mistaken. This is why everything about this game is so cringe. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, anyway, I mean, of course, it is not only Suicide Babies Inc.'s
Sure.
fault that the fact that the game didn't do well. The
Yeah.
game didn't do well because it's a bad game, you know.
That's another factor. Yeah.
But yeah, but what made people hate the game? Then you can blame Suicide Baby Inc. for
Hmm.
this, you know, because it's the storytelling, it's what they did with the characters, you know, it is everything.
Do
You
you
know,
know if
they
Sweet
disrespect.
Baby was involved with Forspoken?
Oh yeah, about this. That was a really that's a really good question because I need to explain this. Yeah, Forspoken. So I don't know if you noticed it, but there was like 24, 25 games on my creator list. I don't know if you've seen this. But anyway, there was a point that we had like I had like 20, 25 games on the list, you know, and
Uh-huh.
some of those games I utilized like IMDb websites as a source, you know. Right now we have 15 games and Forspoken was one of the games that I removed. And why I did that? It was because IMDb website it proved not to be a reliable source, you know, and I need to be accurate. I don't want to be unfair with anyone. You know, I
Hmm.
know that there are tons of people looking at me, looking at what I have to say, paying attention to my creator list, you know. So I don't want to be unfair. I want to be accountable on what games I put over there, you know, and
Yeah.
I want to maintain my credibility, you know. I want to be I want to be fair. I don't want to be unfair with anyone. So
You don't
that's
want to
why I
add
removed.
games onto it
Mhm.
without being 100% certain. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
okay.
sorry if sometimes I speak too much because I mean I'm kind of
I
nervous. But
stream, I
anyway, yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's okay.
yeah. And so the games that I utilized IMDb page as a source, I had to remove because
Hmm.
I just found out that anyone can edit that list on IMDb. You
Right.
know, they can. It's like Wikipedia. You know, I didn't know about this. So yeah, so I had to remove games like Starfield, Forspoken,
Uh-huh.
um, Horizon Forgotten Fast,
Hmm.
um, yeah, some Saints Row. You know, some of those games. I gotta be honest with you, man. Some of those games, I really think they have some kind of involvement with Sweetbit Inc. But I don't have a solid proof. You know, I don't have a solid source.
And that
So
kind of
this is
goes
why I
back
don't
to what I
cover
was
them.
saying about how, like, they're
Hmm
a symptom of the problem, but they're not the entire problem.
For
Yeah,
example, Forspoken that you mentioned it. I mean,
sure.
I checked the credits. It didn't have any involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. as far as I could see,
There it is.
but it did had involvement with a I think it's called Black Girl Gamers,
Hmm.
which from what I've seen in their website, they do a very similar work that Sweet Baby Inc. do.
Right.
So there you go. There's another company that does the same thing, right? Or actually something that I mean it's related to what should be being too. But I don't know. I just know about those two right now. You know.
So you're like trying to figure it's a work in progress, basically. Yeah, I see what you're
Yes, it
saying.
is. It is, and I intend to keep my focus on Sweet Baby at least for now, because keep tracking one company is is hard enough. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I had to. I mean, if more companies show up, then I don't know. Probably I'm gonna change the to ESG Detective, something like this. You know, the name of the
Yeah,
creator,
to
something
make a
like
new
this.
group. Yeah. There you
Yes,
go.
and then we can okay, let's put every single ESG touched game. You know, who
Uh-huh.
knows? But as of now, I mean, I can only focus on one single company, and believe me, man, it's crazy enough to do this.
Yeah, I mean it definitely is. And I'm curious, like obviously some of the people from Sweet Baby say they're being harassed, etc. Say the group is harassing them or witch hunting them. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, again, if you look at the thread I made
Hmm.
in a few words, I have edited that
Yeah.
thread because yeah, some people told me that we are like harassing. Nah, we are not. I mean, we it's simple as that. We are not. Okay,
Hmm.
we just want to, like I told you in the beginning of this. I don't know, it's interview talk. I don't know what it is
Sure.
anyway. I just told you that we just want to inform people, know that to let people know it's all right as consumers, right? So
Disagreeing with you isn't harassing you. If somebody says I don't agree with what you're doing, you're not being harassed.
of course not,
Yeah.
man. Like, I tell my moderators. I mean, I have like, okay, I have this guy. His name is Cassette.
Hmm.
He is a guy. He's an European guy, and he's being my personal hero because he's helping me so much, bro. I have no idea how to be a good moderator. Need neither on Discord
Sure.
or
Yeah.
Steam groups. And this guy, he's doing all the dirty work for me, pretty much, And he's come to me and he said, "Hey, here's a logo to put on your group. This logo right there, he made for me. And then
Wow. All right.
yeah, it's an amazing logo in my opinion.
It
And
is.
because I had that one I made on Paint, I don't know how
Uh-huh.
to. Yeah, I don't know how to deal with image editing, but anyway, and yeah, so he's taking care of all of this to me. And what I tell him is that, hey, if you find someone, I mean, in the group, right, or even Discord server, that
Hmm.
okay, this guy, I mean, this person, they don't agree with us. They actually support Sweep Inc.
Hmm.
Let him stay as long as he's be polite. I just want to talk to
So you're
people.
okay
There's
with people who disagree with you that are in the
a
group or
hundred
are
percent, man.
disagreeable about it. It's totally fine
100%.
as long as they're
Totally fine,
respectful.
man.
Yeah. Okay.
They need to be respectful and they need to not try to jeopardize the group, because some guys went there and started saying like those prohibited words, let me put it
Sure.
that
Yeah.
way, just to try to make the group
To get you in
fall.
trouble. Yeah. 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 For sure.
Yeah, and this is why I just and then when they do that, I tell my moderators to, hey, just ask the guy to stop. If he doesn't stop, then you can ban them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in my Discord server. I mean, this is a place for those who value freedom of thinking, freedom of of choice, this kind of stuff. This is that's my goal. I just want to spread a message that we deserve to have this kind of freedom of choice. I don't want to censor anyone. I don't, bro, even Sweet Baby Inc. I don't want them to explode or to cease existing. I just want them to respect what we want. They can have their projects. They can be as woke as they want in any project they do, bro. But respect our decision as individuals, as consumers, as gamers, players. If we do not want to buy your games, it's simple as that. No, you can keep doing what you're doing and let people talk with their wallets. Let the market react to what you are doing. That's that's what I think.
I think you're totally right. I
I
I
believe in
do.
freedom. This is
Yeah.
what I believe, bro. I believe in
I
freedom.
think that's what most people believe in, and I think I think that's why there's been so much pushback against it. Is that it's like you're telling people that you can't even talk about the games that these people made. It's like you're censoring even discussion about it. So it's like you're not allowed to be aware that this is happening. Like at what level, what level propaganda is this? This is like a very high level of propaganda and censorship that you're not even able to talk about a topic at all because these people want to be able to do their work and not even be questioned for it, not even be acknowledged for it. They just want to be able to have completely no accountability at all. And like all you're saying is that you're saying, yeah, they can do all they want, but also we don't have to buy it either. Yeah, Gangster Rap, apparently, yeah. I mean, there it is. Yeah, just don't talk about it. Exactly. Very fragile ego. Well, I think it's very telling that it's interesting that they have all of these things. They're putting it as like a project here, and they're showing all of the games that they've worked on. And then whenever another group makes this in a negative fashion, somehow this group deserves to be shut down. It's like based off of that logic. I mean, isn't there like a website that tells people if a dog dies in a movie? I'm pretty sure that there is. So, like, shouldn't that website be shut down too? It's just such an insane standard, and the level of entitlement that these people have is, in my opinion, insane. Especially whenever, if you read their tweets, they're fucking racist. It's not even a question. Like, this is, bro, this is a racist thing to say. It's not even a question. Like, what the fuck? It's unbelievable. And it's also like, by the way, this is from 10 years ago, right? But this is from 1 month ago. It's not like this person has like, changed the way that they're thinking about things. It's very clear that this is a pattern. And that's what I think is really very interesting about this whole topic, is the fact that these people are often the ones that are more racist than any of us. Like, because we were fine, like what you said with Sergeant Johnson and Coltrane and fucking Gears of War. Everything was fucking fine. And then these people who are actually racist come into the group and they say that they're fighting racism. What is this? Oh shit, he got DC'd. Yeah, I was wondering because he talked a lot, and I was expecting him I was actually expecting him to interrupt me there. But yeah, I think he got DC'd. I'll give him a minute or so. But it's crazy to me that this happens. Like, am I crazy? Like, I mean, this is really bad. This is definitely really bad. There's anti-Semitism in there as well, but I guess that's kind of racism as well. These people are more fixated on race than anyone, while the rest of people just look at people for people. Well, I think that also, like, they don't mind, like, racial dynamics or anything like that. It's not a big deal because that's real life. There's actually a study showing that liberals are actually more racist than conservatives. Well, I don't know about that. I don't think it's really a liberal or conservative thing or anything. I think there are just bad actors that are actually racist. Because, like, the problem is that this is what the issue is, right? Is that the word racist gets thrown around so much that people forgot what it really means. So, like, now, if you're saying that, like, oh, well, I'm against this other thing that actually doesn't have anything to do with racism, well, now you're a racist. Like, well, you're devaluing the word so much that it's not even a conversation anymore. People confuse criticism of Israel as anti-Semitism. I think that actual anti-Semitism is extremely easy to tell. Like, am I crazy? Like, it's so easy for me to tell whenever somebody is criticizing Israel and whenever somebody is shitting on Jews. Like, it's so fucking obvious. Anti-Zionism is not good anti-Semitism, but good laws with that. Yeah, I think it's just so obvious. Judaism is a faith, not a race. I understand that. I think that there's like a little bit more complexity to it based off of what my understanding is, but I could be wrong about that. I think it's both. That's what I hear, but I'm not really informed enough about like the nuances of that to really make an argument about it. But let me see here. Yeah, he just got DC'd. I'll give him a couple more minutes and then we'll go ahead and look at some other stuff because he might have just gotten DC'd. His internet could have gone down. Who knows why, right? But yeah, I did want to bring him on. And also I want to say that if there's anybody that works at the company that's Sweet Baby that is unhappy with the way that I've covered these topics or what I've said in the topics and you want to come in and give your 2 cents, fighting misinformation would be great. Well, then come on and fight it. If you think this is misinformation or problematic, then come on and explain yourself. That's it. Protected posts, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. And I'll read a few comments here from the chat while we're waiting to see if we can set this back up or not. But I'll go ahead and just listen to what some of you guys are saying. These people are cowards. Well, they are. They're massive cowards. And, well, they're not only are they cowards, but they are actively hiding behind rules the moment that they get called out. Have you seen the book, What's Our Problem, from Tim Urban? No, I haven't seen that. Read the post of the group one by the employees. Oh, this in the group? No, this is just a random person saying that they're an employee. Why would I read that? It's probably just rage bait made by a troll. Like, why would I read that? They're on a grift? Yeah, exactly. And nowadays, actual racists don't get taken seriously because the word has gotten so diluted. I agree with you. I actually agree with you. Like, I think that's a huge problem. Because, like, I've been around actual racists, and, like, how many times have I been around racists? Like, I know, like, Cody, like, if I don't know if Cody's watching or not, but, like, if Cody's around, like, I'll have to ask him next time, like, Katrina's dad didn't want Cameron swimming in his pool, and, like, Cameron's other friend, who was, like, one of our, I don't think it was actually even Cameron's friend, it was, like, this other guy that we knew that was black, he didn't want Cameron or the other black guy in his pool because he thought he was going to get the pool dirty. It's like, this is an actual fucking racist. Like, this is a legit racist. Like, what is this? Yeah, exactly, right? And we were like, because at the time, like, this is where we were watching the Chappelle show, like, making these racial jokes. And we, like, growing up, we thought this is just, we're just goofing around, right? It's just funny stuff. And then it's like, this dude is taking it seriously. We were like, wait, what? Wait, what the fuck? Like, what? Did he really say that? Like, what's this here? Yeah, it's sad, right? It was like, makes you uncomfortable as fuck. Yeah, it was so weird, man. Yeah, you sure dad was retarded? Yeah, he's dumb as fuck, man. The guy's a moron. And I still see him every once in a while. Sorry for spam. One of the biggest game creators used diversity as Hideo Kojima in Metal Gear Solid series, like take Vamp, for example, but it was never forced on us. It was brought to us by the storyline. Well, I think that's the reason why a lot of Eastern developers are able to add diversity into their games without people being upset about it, is it's because the sense of trust. I think that's really what the problem is more than anything. It's that people don't really know whether they can trust the integrity of what they're watching to be something that was created for an artistic intent, like something like Dion or Coltrane or Sergeant Johnson, with actual artistic intent to improve the story and give more texture to the story, versus just some sort of like bullshit checkbox that's being done in order to make somebody who doesn't even play video games happy. Do you see kind of what I'm saying? Or if it's pandering, right? But like, because people don't view, Japanese companies or Korean companies or Chinese companies, those are the big three, I would say, as being beholden to those types of values. Whenever characters are added in those games, there's never an issue at all about it. It's never considered even. And so I think that really what the issue is that there's a lack of trust. And so, yeah. Exactly, not just a checkbox, but value. That's the world. Yeah, 100%. Remember whenever they claim Square Enix is racist because there's no black people in Final Fantasy 16, but in reality, they had a game about slavery? Well, you have to understand that these are people that have extremely low media literacy, and in my opinion, I bet they probably have extremely low literacy in general. I bet they probably aren't very smart. I think they're stupid. And so they're not able to view, like, the branded, or I forgot even what it was, like where they're the people that like made Magic in Final Fantasy 16. I forgot even what the term was. The branded, yeah. They're not able to look at it contextually. They're not able to see it from like the right perspective. And so Final Fantasy 7 has Barrett, Final Fantasy 13 has Zez. Well, also, like, it comes from a place like Japan is full of Japanese people, so they're going to make stories that are reflective of their culture. It would make sense that there weren't really a lot of black people in Japanese stories because there's not a lot of black people in Japan. That's just the way it is. It's the same as here. We have tons of different people because in America, there are tons of different people all over the place here. So it's much more representative of, like, the culture that it comes out of. I mean, oh my God, what? This creator of Dragon Ball Z said exactly the stuff that... Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is like, I always thought that was really weird because, like, I remember back in middle school, Dragon Ball Z, like, do you remember, like, we would actually go... Did you guys ever do this? Where, like, you would go to the computer lab and print out, like, pictures of, like, Dragon Ball Z characters and stuff like that and, like, look it up and, like, show your friends and all that? Because we did this all the time, right? We were so fucking into this. In color, yeah, we'd use the printers for this. And, it's, oh my God, this is, like, fucking Super Saiyan 4 Goku, what the fuck, right? And, no, I was straight. Yeah, well, in that case, we were gay as fuck. And it's like, everybody was into this. And it's like, was Goku black? No, but, like... Or Hispanic? No, not really. But, like, everybody was into it. Everybody loved it, man. And so, yeah, I always found it to be weird that, like, I feel like Dragon Ball Z just goes against any of that stuff. Piccolo for sure is. I don't know. They sold them too? Yeah, there it is. And Piccolo's black? I don't know. I thought he was green, personally. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it is very, very problematic to see this kind of stuff. And the worst thing about that is that these people are... It's not enough that they make things like they make the games worse. I think that they make the entire culture around the games worse. Because all they do is foster more division. They foster more animosity. They get more hostile. They elevate and escalate the conversation to an emotional level that it doesn't need to be at. They insert themselves into places that they're not really part of and they don't belong in. This is crazy. How do these people even be involved in the game industry? They clearly hate games. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I think that, again, this is why you see a group like this being so successful. Over 100,000 followers for this one group. And this has really kind of popped off in the last week or so. I think that a lot of people are just fucking tired of it. They're tired of being patronized by people who hate them. They're tired of being patronized by people who have no context or understanding of the meaning of the games. And they're tired of being told what they can and can't think about and playing video games and thinking that they're constantly being forced a message. That's what I think. This guy's internet probably got fucked up, and so we'll go ahead and we'll talk about some other stuff too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but always will companies do more harm than good to all the minorities that fight against it on a daily basis, because people get incredibly mad at companies and shove the mentality down their throats and tend to start hating on minorities as an impulse. I think that you are completely right. I absolutely think that you're right. And I think that they've escalated the conversation and made it to where any time that you see a character who is like gay, black, a woman, anything like that, people immediately think woke. And that's what I said before about destroying the trust. Is because there's no artistic trust that what people are seeing in games is authentically what the artist intended. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, they muddied the water. Yeah, exactly. And so people then reflexively are against it, and that's also a bad thing. It absolutely is. Yeah, now we get so many knee-jerk reactions. Exactly, yeah. You have there are knee-jerk reactions, and there's never an actual, there's never thinking about it, because people are always responding to what they think that it is. A lot of these companies don't even check with the groups they claim to protect. They get offended on their behalf without seeing how they feel. Well, of course that's what happens, because these people, they think that they know better. Again, these people, keep in mind, these people are the real racists. These are the real racists right here. And it's hiding in plain sight. And I think that is why people are fucking fed up with it. Absolutely.